This edition of MacVoices is sponsored by Atlassian, the makers of Jira, Confluence, HipChat, and Bitbucket, helping teams everywhere team up to create what's next. Visit Atlassian.com to learn more. I'm just back from Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference and the AltConf, among several other terrific events in San Francisco. Much of that time was spent talking to developers, on camera and off, about their projects, their reactions to Apple's announcements, and other topics. Naturally, given all the developments with Swift, the topic of coding tools frequently came up. I'm not a coder, but I'm always interested in what tools people use to get their jobs done. And that's where Atlassian comes in. With Jira, projects can be tracked and tasks managed. Confluence shares results among the team to keep everyone on the same page. HipChat lets the team talk via instant message or video chat from any device at any time. And Bitbucket helps the team test, review, and manage the code as a team, so the project gets done faster and shipped sooner. You need to find out why the Atlassian tools are something so many of the developers at WWDC are familiar with and use to get their jobs done. Visit Atlassian.com to learn more, download free demo versions, and find out how Atlassian can let your team work and communicate better together. That's Atlassian.com. See what they can do for you. Thanks to Atlassian for their support of MacVoices. MacVoices is in San Francisco for WWDC and the AltConf. I'm here with Daniel of AppDeal to talk about something new, something I haven't heard about for developers and actually for consumers too. Daniel, it's great to see you.
Very good to see you. Big fan and great to be here with you today.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. AppDeal, tell us about AppDeal. I love this model for lots of reasons that we'll talk about.
Absolutely. Well, we're excited because we just did our soft launch last week, and AppDeal is a platform that benefits both users and developers at the same time. Unfortunately, there's a lot of frustrations with developers today in the app ecosystem, and so we've developed a cashback incentive model where developers can offer a cashback incentive to users in return for downloading their apps. And so it's great for users because whether you're buying a 99-cent app or a $99 app, you can save 5, 10, 50, 100%. And for developers, it's great because it gives them an opportunity to connect more directly with users in a way that they can't through the App Store or other traditional means.
Okay, so there are a lot of questions here as to how this works. So I buy an app in the App Store, and I'm just going to call it an app. Yep. I'm not going to name anything in particular. So how do then I take advantage of what you're offering? I assume it's obviously something the developer has to sign up for, but first steps first. Let's do the consumer side. How do I go about collecting my discount?
Sure. So for the consumer side, it's very easy. And many consumers are probably already aware of this model in other verticals. If they've gone to the grocery store and they've taken a photo of their receipt and then sent it to another app, and then they've received $1 or $2 or $3 back. Well, it's the same way. When you purchase in the App Store, you get a receipt. So you share your receipt with us to verify your purchase. And once we confirm the purchase has been made, we give you your cash back. We credit your account, and now you have money in your account that you wouldn't have had otherwise.
Okay, so that's great. What do I give up by doing that?
Well, you're really not giving up much because, in fact, you're actually getting something more, which is an ability to connect with the developer, again, in a way that you can't through the App Store. So there's a real sort of Chinese wall, so to speak, between consumers and vendors in the App Store. There's no really good way to communicate. By verifying your purchase, you're actually opening a channel of communication with the developer so that you can get further promotions, further discounts, upgrade pricing, for example, and an ability to communicate with issues or problems that you might have with the app that, again, you couldn't do in the App Store.
We've seen developers do a lot of things to try to establish those relationships. You know, a splash screen that says sign up for our newsletter, or get in touch with us, or register on the website, you know. And unfortunately, those usually are just ways of collecting personal information. This way, you are giving me potentially something back as a consumer to to give up my information, and I don't really feel like it's that, because I'm choosing to establish my relationship with that developer.
Right, and it's actually much more cost efficient from the developer side. So when you look at a developer putting up a splash screen or something in one of their apps, there's a lot of friction to that, to collecting that information, and it's very easy to abandon that also from the user's perspective, right? Because you have to opt into all of these things. But once you're part of the AppDeal ecosystem and you're in, it's actually frictionless in order to share your receipt and then connect with the developers. So it's very simple in that regard. And for the developers, they're giving up a little bit, but they're gaining a lot, because anyone in the development community knows how valuable it is to be able to connect with your users, to tell them about new promotions, new apps, to cross-promote, to do upgrade pricing, which is something that isn't available in the App Store today, but would be available to be facilitated through the AppDeal ecosystem.
There's so many developers, and not app developers necessarily, just developers across the board, that sometimes abuse those relationships. And I think, as long as there's an opt-out option here, which there obviously would be, at the very least I can blacklist an email. But this feels really good. And let's flip to the developer side, though. So this way, a developer can comply with all of Apple's guidelines, but still maybe give a discount, get the information they're looking for to establish that relationship, and add value to the relationship.
Right, and one thing I want to be clear about, we're not just going to give all the information to the developer. We are both cognizant and I would say we take a very strong approach towards privacy and security as well. So what we're doing is opening up a channel of communication, but not necessarily just giving all that information carte blanche to developers. So you still have that protection there. But from a developer standpoint, as I said, it does give them that opportunity to do things like upgrade pricing, which they would never be able to do through the App Store.
So you're the middleman in this transaction. So do I have to worry about you? And what I mean by that is, if I purchase an audio app today, am I suddenly going to find my email box filled with ads for audio apps because you decided to sell that information?
Absolutely not. In fact, it would hurt what we're doing if we started selling that information, because one of the strengths is the faith that all of our users put into us to safeguard their information and, in fact, prevent exactly that from happening. So yeah, if we were just giving away the information to developers, it would be very harmful to users. But if we create a win-win environment where users are getting cash and making money and saving on app purchases, and developers are happy because now they can offer upgrade pricing, now they can offer special promotions, now they can actually communicate with users, then everyone wins. So the incentive is actually to safeguard information while still providing value to all the people that are using the system.
Okay, so it's pretty obvious how the consumer would get involved with this. They'd see the notice that they bought the app and go from there. But how do developers get involved in this?
Yeah, just go to appdeal.com and click Contact Us, and there's a little link that says Become a Partner, and send us an email, and we'll speak with you and figure out what your goals are in working with the platform, and come up with an arrangement that works for the developer so that they can also benefit. We're very aware of how difficult it is for so many small independent developers to grow their businesses under the strict guidelines and within the ecosystem of the App Store. And by working with us, we can really be a strong partner in helping them grow their efforts, both from a marketing and distribution standpoint, and make their businesses more sustainable in the long run, which I think is another real big positive for the community as a whole.
Absolutely. The website one more time, Daniel.
It's appdeal.com.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. This is the first new model I've seen or heard about in this area for a long time, and I hope it works out for everybody.
Oh, thank you. We're really excited about it, and thanks for having us on the show.
Folks, more from WWDC and AltConference in San Francisco. I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes, links to subscribe, and to connect with Chuck on Twitter, Google+, Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, SoundCloud, the MacVoices blog, the MacVoices Dispatch, our weekly newsletter, and on MacVoices magazine, free on Flipboard, that helps you do more with your Apple tech. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.